My good friends, hello, buongiorno. In my last video about TFT, I expressed a bit of disappointment when it comes to the balance. Others have just been slightly tweaked in numbers. Compared to Lepic, the overhaul rebalance for FREYNA, Bunny and Blair was just a smidge of what Lepic received. However, that doesn't mean FREYNA is bad. I've had some comments. It's a joke. She's not good. She's way behind. You can make FREYNA clean rooms in the Axion Planes just as much as you do in a 400% dungeon. We're gonna go through that today. I'm gonna showcase to you how it's just a very few modifications. It's not much. And these few modifications are gonna allow you to absolutely demolish the Axion Planes mobs, okay? One of the first most important thing is this. You have to change the Archetuning slightly. Usually, FREYNA build is gonna involve skill cooldown here and skill power here. However, skill power alone is not gonna help you because the mobs in the Axion Planes are fairly tanky. So we need to reduce their tankiness. And this is pretty much going to increase the power we have over them. Because we don't have the burst damage, so we just need to reduce their health and their defenses and their resistances. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get rid of the skill cooldown here, and you're gonna get rid of the skill power here. Just maintain these two ticks for the effect range, and you're pretty much going to go on the left side. But the reason why you go this way is because you need to get your defense neutralization mutant cell. Every time you hit an enemy with a skill, okay, and the enemy is at full HP, so basically when the mobs have just spawned, this works perfectly on FREYNA, they get inflicted with the defense neutralization. So for 15 seconds, their defenses are going to be halved, and the resistances, all of the resistances are going to be reduced by 30%. This makes the mobs as tanky as paper. So you can now run through them. That's pretty much one of the biggest change you can do. Because the mobs are tanky, you reduce the tankiness, hence FREYNA hits like a truck. Nell doesn't really need to do that, or Serena, because they have so much power that they just can push through their defenses. But, you know, someone like Blair, someone like Bunny, someone like FREYNA, they are DOT characters, they don't nuke as hard, they don't have that burst damage. So you need to modify it a little bit. No biggie. Once you have this, on this side, you have a Xantic mutant cell, and it's up to you really, but there are a few options. One is the poison vulnerability, which is the one I'm using, or you can use Arche efficiency enhancement. Another one, which I don't have at the moment, but you can also use, is toxic chain catalyst. This one makes the enemies even less tanky. Now I don't have it at the moment. I'm waiting on a mutant cell box, not coming anytime soon. This one also reduces their toxic skill resistance. So basically, you also do an extra 12% damage to them, which is always good. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Archetuning is done. When it comes to your reactor, let's go with the reactor first, okay? You've got choices here as well. For example, when it comes to mobs, you have tech or toxic with a skill cooldown. You can add range, you can add whatever you want. I usually go with toxic and tech because I'm a greedy bastard. However, you can also put your tech and skill cooldown. With tech and skill cooldown, you can have your fort on a 20 seconds cooldown, which is pretty comfortable any mobbing mission. So you can pretty much use your Uzi SMG and be a real gangster. However, I don't care about cooldowns, so I'm using this because I want a lot of damage. So I use toxic and tech. When it comes to your components, Plague. The Plague set for her is the best, simply because you get an extra 43% in toxic skill power, and make sure you have HP and defense on all of them. Make sure you have MP recovery out of combat on your auxiliary power. Make sure you have MP and MP recovery in combat for your sensor. And everything else, it's up to you, whichever you prefer. Okay, that's that. And when it comes to the real meat and potato, there are a few variations of things you can do here. First of all, we're going to use Venom Injection because we have to squeeze a little bit extra damage. So Venom Injection, that's that perfectly because we add an extra 66% or modifier. Now, do bear in mind one thing. The skill power modifier, it's at 240%. And it goes over 200% in all of her DOTs almost. So skill power modifier after 150, 200%, it's not going to have the same impact. Skill power on the other hand, it's going to make a big difference, which is why we're using power beyond. I only have a 13% increase in power. If you have a 15%, which is the yellow one, even better. This one is pretty good because it has a 12, 13, 15% increase in skill power passive, just like that. You just put it on and you have it. Obviously, overwhelming shield because we are doing a shield build here. As a Venom Injection, works really well with shields. And we have our usual. We have focus on tech, focus on toxic, tech amplification, toxic amplification. Now, focus on toxic does less damage than power increase. Okay? So let's be clear on this. Power increase ups your damage a bit. But now this one has a 35 seconds cooldown. And I prefer it on a 28 seconds cooldown. But it's up to you. Okay, you can go one way or the other. But these are the fours that you want. You can use focus on tech and focus on toxic for the cooldown, or you can use power increase instead of this to increase your power. When it comes to the focus on tech as well, you can take this off and add skill simplification if you want to increase your skill power modifier even more, but that's going to eat your MP, and you already have MP conversion on, so you'll be losing a lot of MP. MP conversion and nimble fingers, so you get your cooldowns, so you can spam these bad boys, your 1 and your 3 pretty much, and then on a 25, 28 seconds cooldown, you get your Venom Baptism. So you can deal with those pesky elites. Anything else, you have skill expansion. You only need 1, because then you're going to have amplification control to get a little bit extra range and a little bit of shields. And your range is pretty much maxed out, okay? You're done. This is your build. Now, increase shield. I use it because I don't have an HP on this one. Which means that without shield, I'm sitting at just shy of 4,000 shield. Everything that hits me a couple of times, I die. So it's not good, okay? When you see those glass cannon builds and people promoting them, don't follow that, because 9 out of 10 you die. And honestly, if you have to stay on the floor, you lose a lot of DPS if you're dead. Because dead, it's 0 DPS. Amplification control. If you don't mind losing a bit of range, you can add more shield and a little bit of cost by using weighing scales. This way, you have 85% shield and 3.7% cost, so you can reduce the cost, but this way you lose a bit of range. You lose 5 meters of range. Okay, up to you really, but you get 1,300 shield, which is not much really. This is why usually I'll go with amplification control. I just feel like it's better. You know, it's a good balance between shield and range, and you pretty much almost maxed out. Now there's also another variation in which you want to be a complete toxic, and you take away shield and you add decimator. Now decimator is going to add even more damage because you get an extra 50% power modifier, which is absolutely insane. Okay, it adds even more damage on top of that. But this is going to run you into the problem of having only 4,000 shield, which is pretty bad. Now, if you can offset that by having an HP here in the Plague Auxiliary, So Decimator works well if you can go over 6000 shield without any extra addition. Then you can use Decimator, in which case you're still a glass cannon, but you do a lot more damage. So you can kill them before they kill you. This extra damage is pretty cool. It doesn't affect much your fort, but it does affect much your ticks. Okay. Another solution, it's MP Collector. MP Collector also works, because this one is going to give you more mana sustainability. Okay, so there are plenty of ways for you to go. And if you don't want MP Collector, you can even use Preemptive Strike. This one is going to add a flat 17% skill damage when you first hit the enemies. So not only they get debuffed immediately, but they also get a 17% extra damage. So Preemptive Strike also works kind of okay. I usually go with shield. Oh my god, you're still using HP modes, you're still using shield modes. Yes. Yes. Because I don't like to die. I would rather stay alive. Skill issue? Okay. Skill issue. Be it. But since I'm not a professional TFD player, I'd rather be alive and do damage than having to wait on any Inez or Viesas or Serena to come down and help me up. So yeah, this is what I find myself most comfortable with, and it works pretty well. There's also another solution. Maintain the same build, and you can use Arche Leak. However, the problem with Arche Leak is the inconsistency. Because what this does, it's going to add to you an extra 110, 115, 100, all the way up to 120% skill power modifier, which makes it a bit of a nuke when Arche Leak activates. However, it's going to suck your MP in order to increase the power. So basically what ends up happening is going to get your MP cost per attack by 3.5. And FREYNA attacks everyone. So it's gonna 3.5 for each tick for each enemy. That's a lot of MP drain. Going to pretty much drain you. So I like it. It nukes, does good damage, but it's fairly inconsistent. Because the moment you run out of MP completely, Arche Leak deactivates and goes on cooldown. Which means that the skill power modifier doesn't apply anymore. The moment Arche Leak goes on cooldown, it's removed instantly. Okay? It has a duration of 30 seconds with a cooldown of 15 seconds. But you always need to fish for MP. And you can try to kind of go around with MP Collector, but Arche Leak is going to balance itself out. So in the beginning, it's going to drain the MP to fuse it with your skill power, so it infuses the skill power modifier into your attacks. But then it's going to start give you 4% MP back per skill use and 2.9% per kill. So you have two instances where MP drain is offset by the skill usage and the ticks. The problem is that the MP pool is fairly small on FREYNA. So many times you're going to run out of MP way before this Arche Leak balance can start. And if you don't fish for MP on the floor, Arche Leak deactivates and you lose that extra power. I'm gonna have two showcases for. One is the Arche Leak and one is the Power Beyond missions. And the reason why I'm gonna put both so you can have an idea is because Arche Leak fairly inconsistent, but it nukes a lot. So it's pretty fun to use. But we need to find a solution to offset that enormous MP drain. Now, enough of me talking and blabbering. Let's get you going on a showcase, okay?
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Search and destroy required. Has been detected in the area. Breach creatures multiplying. There must be a colony. Watch it.